Thank you.
Good afternoon, evening, everybody. My name's Mike, and I work at Cranfield University. I'm joined by my colleague, Alan Tan, as well. So we've got a little presentation for you this morning to try and explain a little bit about our university that you may or may not have heard about. We're quite a small university in the UK, but we've got a great reputation in the areas we work in. So we're going to throw a little bit of light around what is a bit of a hidden gem of a university, as we call it, which is Cranfield University. We'll have questions for myself and Alan at the end, which is fine. And I hope I won't talk for too long and bore you too much. So hopefully we've got some interesting things to talk about. Okay, so thank you for joining us this morning. So when we talk about Cranfield, for those who haven't heard of Cranfield University, we're quite unique in the UK because we're postgraduate only university. And that means we only teach master's level students, PhD students, and conduct research and contract research work at Cranfield. So we don't have any undergraduate students at Cranfield, and that makes us quite a unique place to learn. It's a very focused learning environment. Every student joining Cranfield really wants to get those skills they need to go on and have a successful career and job and secure that first employment in the company of their dreams. So people come to Cranfield to work hard for a year to get one of the best postgraduate educations available in the UK in a dedicated and quite special environment. In terms of our history, at Cranfield University, we've been around since 1946, and we're originally formed as the Cranfield College of Aeronautics. And that moved into becoming Cranfield Institute of Technology in the 1980s, and then we received our university status in the 90s and became Cranfield University as we know today. We're one of the top UK research institutions, and we have unparalleled access and facilities at Cranfield. So we're based on an airport. So Cranfield used to be a Air Force base, and then it was converted into a technology institution. But we still have the airport at Cranfield, which is unique in the sector. And we also have our own aircraft and run flight experiments, flight trials. And I've got some nice pictures to share of some of the aircraft and automotive aviation side of things we do at Cranfield. In terms of just a few of the key statistics about Cranfield, we believe we're number one in the UK for aerospace engineering and technology. And that's based on the number of specialist programs we have at Cranfield. So we've got more master's level courses in these areas than any other university in the UK. And each of them is a specialist program designed to solve a particular industry need for a particular skill in a particular subject area. We've also got one of the best staff to student ratios, and this is the benefit of being a smaller university. So you get more time and access to our academics than you would at one of the much larger universities, and that can really help enhance your learning. We've got a fantastic alumni community all around the world. I think it's over 70,000 strong now. And you'll find Cranfield alumni in fantastic roles, leading companies around the world. You can't go into the aerospace sector globally and not bump into Cranfield graduates in that sector, such as our reputation in that area. And because we're postgraduate only, we don't tend to appear on the subject rankings and the university rankings, and that's because we're postgraduate only. We just don't feature in them. But the one we do feature in is in the QS World University Rankings, where we've been 5th in the UK for the subject areas mechanical, aeronautical and manufacturing engineering. So we're right up there in terms of one of the top UK institutions for engineering, technology, aerospace, automotive and manufacturing engineering. So what we pride ourselves on at Cranfield is our links to industry. And we're really proud of this, and it's been an on-running theme throughout the 75 years we've been in existence. It's how the university was really designed in terms of the curriculum and everything else. So what does it mean, and why does it matter to you as a potential student? Well, industry is really important to us, and every course at Cranfield University is governed by an advisory panel or advisory board, and they meet every year and discuss the content of the course, making sure it's still relevant to the needs of industry, ensuring that we're graduating students who have got the skills to go on and have the best careers in some of the best companies around the world. And that really helps the employability of our graduates at Cranfield. Industry know that a Cranfield graduate is ready to go into the world of work and take on positions in some of the top companies around the world. So that's why that's important to you as a potential student. Our industry partners, they also sponsor some of the projects at Cranfield. And by projects, we mean the project work you do as a student at Cranfield. So we have individual projects, and a lot of our courses have group project work. And many of those are sponsored by industry. And again, that's relevant to you because it means you're doing project work that is relevant to the needs of industry. You'll also be working on some projects and engaging with our industry partners. So that gets you exposure to real engineers in real working environments and can give you the added advantage when you go on to try and get your first job with that industry experience. So it's not an internship, but we work very closely with our industry partners to help shape the project work that you will undertake while you're with us. Many of our courses take advantage of visiting industry. So the picture on the top right of the screen is a small cohort of our robotics MSc students visiting one of the top global manufacturers of robots, and they go down there for a day or two. They have lectures from some of the robotic engineers at ABB, and they have presentations, and they work on some of their project work with them. And that happens across many of our courses. Last week, our motorsport students were lucky enough to have a factory tour at Mercedes F1 team, which is quite close to Cranfield University. So we're very close to a lot of the aerospace, motorsports and automotive companies in the UK. And we also have what we call guest speakers or guest lectures on many of our courses. So you'll often find our students having these additional lectures, sometimes in the evening, sometimes as part of their courses, from prominent speakers from industry. And again, this is to ensure that our students leave Cranfield with an up-to-date education, understanding the latest issues that industry are facing and learning from industry as well as our academics. And our industry partners also help with our recruitment. So most of them attend a lot of our careers fairs. And we have a very active careers service at Cranfield dedicated to helping you find employment after your studies with us, whether that be in the UK or whether that be around the world. So the careers service at Cranfield is, I believe, one of the best in any of the postgraduate institutions in the UK. So, like I said, why does it matter to you? Well, it ensures our courses are giving you the latest skills that industry needs. Industry are letting you know what the biggest challenges in the sector are, so you can help build your skills around what those future challenges are, with many of the projects supported by industry. and alongside our excellent employability statistics. Okay, I'm going to talk just a little bit about one of the biggest issues we're facing, which is the climate change we're facing around the world at the moment. And there's some graphs here. I don't expect you to look at these, but it's just really showing who the biggest contributors are in terms of CO2 emissions, whether that be through domestic flights, through long-haul flights, through passenger car travel, through bus travel, to train travel right at the bottom. So you can see the different makeup. So as engineers or potential future engineers, this is one of the biggest challenges facing society over the next 20 years. And we're really keen that we're developing engineers that can help solve the future challenges that we face in this area. So many of our courses are ensuring our graduates are leaving with an appreciation of this and working out how you can be part of the solution. Just some examples when we talk about sustainable aviation. These are all projects that we've been working on at Cranfield with our industry partners. So the top two aircraft are experimental aircraft. One is looking at, well, they're both looking at hydrogen as a fuel source for future aviation. So at Cranfield, we have some of the first aircraft actually flying experimentally using hydrogen as a fuel source and also an electric propulsion system. So they're the top two images. And then the other images are just conceptual aircraft designs from some of our industry partners on what the aircraft of the future might look like. And this is what we're trying to train our aerospace graduates into. We're trying to train our graduates to become the designers of these technologies of the future. And there's lots of different ways we can solve that. And the picture on the bottom right shows some of the Airbus concepts for more sustainable aircraft. And the relevant courses in this area, just to introduce you to our course portfolio a little bit in aerospace, we have one of our most popular courses, which is aerospace vehicle design. And that teaches all aspects of designing aircraft, from aircraft structures to avionics systems, to a whole broad range of subjects in that course. And it's one of our most popular courses because it's been running since we started the university. We also have courses if you're interested in computational engineering, so using computers to design aircraft, and a course in thermal power. What thermal power really means is gas turbine engines, and they're still going to be the power source for the air transport sector for quite a few years to come. So even though we'd like to phase out to more electric propulsion systems, that's not going to happen for 20 to 30 years as we're waiting for the technology to build. So there's still a great opportunity to improve the performance of gas turbine engines, to make them more efficient, to use less fuel, and run them on alternative fuels that have less environmental impact. So that's the course that looks at all of that. If you have more interest in materials and structures and composites, that's an important part of aerospace. We have to make the aircraft lighter to make them more efficient. And we have a dedicated course in that area. Whereas if you're more interested in learning about what we call the business of flying, more of a management subject, we teach air transport management, which is all around the business aspects of running an airport and an airline, and the operations that go behind that. So that's just a brief. We have more courses in the portfolio, but that's a little summary. So on the next slide, I've got a little video that shows the outcome of the aerospace vehicle design group project work. And this is really important because the students spend 6 months working on this. As soon as they arrive, they start working on the group project on AVD course. On other courses, it's a shorter program of 3 months, but on AVD, it's a 6-month project work. And we take all of the students and they get split into design teams, as you would find in industry, where they work on different subcomponents of the aircraft. So we come up with a new conceptual aircraft design, and then the students go away and design it. And at the end of that project, they present the new concept design to a panel of industry and academics, and have to justify their design decisions. And this forms a real highlight of the course, and it's really unique at the scale we do it at Cranfield. And this is really training our engineers for what it's like working in industry. So you have to work in a team of people speaking different languages from different cultures, as you would if you were sat in a design office in Airbus or Rolls-Royce or any of the other large companies. And we go through the same design specification process and sign-off process as you would find in the industry using the latest technologies. And the outcome is a presentation, and they produce a conceptual video. So I'm going to play you the conceptual video in 1 second. So this is one of the designs that they worked on that shows the level of detail. So this is one of the concept aircraft designs that the students worked on, and you can see lots of modern technologies in here, where we're looking at what we call a hybrid electric aircraft. So it's running both traditional gas turbines and electric propulsion systems in this aircraft. And it's got lots of other technologies that if you're into aerospace, it might mean something. If you're not, it's something you would learn if you were on the course. So it's a more efficient passenger aircraft due to the design of the wings, the propulsion system, and the general layout of the aircraft. Okay, so I'm going to play the short video for you. I don't know how this will display across the world, but we'll hit play and see what happens. But just bear in mind, this is a presentation by our students. Okay, so our students create this at the end of the project. It's not real, it's a concept. So that's the short video of one of the concept aircraft designs that the students do. And that was all background images, was the airport at Cranfield and some of the buildings on campus. So it also showed you some of those unique facilities that we have. And it's very, very impressive. And people often think that's a real aircraft, and we have to explain that's actually a concept design by our students. And the heritage of this goes all the way back to the start of Cranfield. So in one of our buildings at Cranfield, we have all of these models, and these models are now 3D printed models of those concept aircraft designs, going back to, in the bottom left-hand corner, the very first group project that was run in 1946. So this is a tradition that we have at Cranfield, to make a model each year to represent what the students achieved during that project. And we have these on display in one of the buildings at Cranfield. Okay, this is a real aircraft. So this is our latest aircraft, and this is called the National Flying Laboratory. So this is new to Cranfield this year. It replaces an older aircraft that's just retired from service. So this is a Saab, I believe it's a Saab 340 aircraft, and it is fully instrumented inside. So we call it the flying classroom, or the classroom in the sky. And students on a couple of our courses, not all of our courses, just a couple, run a program called the Flight Experimental Methods. So you get to fly in this aircraft and record data and conduct experiments. And this is to embed flight dynamic theory from the classroom into real life. And this is absolutely unique. No other university has an aircraft like this to run experiments. But we actually use this aircraft and we fly students from across the UK in it, as well as our own students. And we also have some light aircraft, some smaller aircraft, where you can have flight experience sessions. And again, it's about bringing to life what we teach in the classroom. And this is one of the things that makes Cranfield very different from a lot of other universities, particularly within aerospace. No one else has this kind of facilities. They don't have an airport, they don't have aircraft, they don't have pilots. Well, we do at Cranfield, and that's why we're very special. We've also got our own 737. Me and Alan would love to fly on this and come and visit you, but unfortunately it doesn't fly anymore. It's a static aircraft now. So this was donated to us from British Airways. So it flew into our airport about 5 years ago and was decommissioned. However, we use it as a teaching and a research tool at Cranfield. So you can still plug the aircraft in, the flight deck still works, all the control systems still work. So we use it to teach hands-on practically what is in an aircraft design. And we also use it for research. If we're looking at, let's say, electric taxiing concepts to move an aircraft from its hangar out onto the airfield, how can we do that using less fuel or autonomously? We can use the aircraft to do that. If we want to inspect the aircraft for damage using drones and sensor technologies, we can do research on that. And you'll see the aircraft parked in its new home, which is our new digital aviation centre at Cranfield. That's our new research centre. So that's its current new home, which was only finished, I believe, earlier this year as a new facility at Cranfield. It has lots of great technology in there, including radar, advanced radar systems. We've got a virtual air traffic control tower. We've got a passenger experience laboratory looking at loading and disembarking people onto aircraft through the airport terminal to improve that. So that's all going on at Cranfield at the moment. In terms of other projects, if you've got an interest in autonomy or autonomous vehicles, we have courses in that area. We've got a brand new course on advanced air mobility, which is about integrating drones or autonomous aircraft into the airspace. And what this little video shows is another example of one of our group projects. And this was sponsored by one of our big industry sponsors called BAE Systems. And it was about creating a competition for students, not just for Cranfield students, but a competition across the UK for students who wanted to solve a problem. Effectively, it was an air battle of drones. Okay, so they had to autonomously engage with the other universities' drones on our airport. So we shut down the airport for a day and we had our students flying these drones all autonomously, effectively trying to disable each other, which was quite a fun project. So I'll just play you the video on that.
We have been designing an autonomous swarm capable of detecting, reacting, attacking, defending against another autonomous swarm.
The UAV Swarm Challenge is bringing together two teams from Cranfield with a team from Manchester University and a team from Strathclyde University. It's using Cranfield's Global Research Airport.
BAE Systems has never done anything like this with one of its strategic university partners. We are really interested in how to coordinate swarms of flying vehicles. These are really key skills that BAE Systems needs. Students who learn these skills would be of immense value to our company.
These events are very beneficial because they allow us to take the theoretical concepts we've been taught in courses and in lectures and apply them to something which ultimately has to work on the big day.
Very impressive to see all our UAVs taking off at the same time and doing almost exactly what they have to do.
In this group design project, we can put our knowledge into practice, which is highly valuable for us.
This group design project brought me the interest about the artificial intelligence. I'm really proud of my teammates because they spend like all nights, all days in the lab and make the whole system works.
Working with industry has given myself, but also my team, a glimpse into how complex problems such as these are tackled.
It's a great opportunity to kind of network with our strategic university partners, and also it's a great opportunity to inspire our future workforce.
So BAE Systems, like all major employers, are really interested in the talent pipeline, but I'm sure that what they want to see is that the students are inspired to go on into industry and to be the aerospace leaders of the future.
And again, I think what that video shows is one, the breadth of diversity we have at Cranfield University. We have very diverse cohorts on our courses from students from all around the world, which is a real plus because you learn from different students as well as the academics. So that's really important to us. And also the depth of these relationships we have with our industry partners. In this case, that was BAE Systems. And they will no doubt, as part of that project, will have probably identified people that they wanted to employ straight off the project. So they would have looked to see who the best engineers were from the teams. And I'm sure some of those students managed to get offers of employment with BAE Systems straight from that, working on that project. And that happens quite. So if anyone's interested in automotive engineering or motorsports engineering, this is another big area for Cranfield. I think we've been teaching automotive engineering at Cranfield for 55 years, might even be a little bit longer now. And automotive engineers have a big part to play now in helping to limit climate change as well. And some of the things we can do in that area are, well, we could all drive a little bit less. We could share our transportation. So one person driving one car is very polluting, whereas 4 people driving in the car per head is a lot less. So that's important. We can be better at route planning, so we go less distances. But then moving on to the technologies, we can make the vehicles lighter, and the lighter vehicle uses less fuel. So less emissions. So making vehicles lightweight is really important. Electric cars are becoming a huge part of the infrastructure, particularly in the UK, but across the world. And we can also make the cars autonomous. And an autonomous car will drive more efficiently, will drive on better routes. So we'll ultimately use less fuel in getting from A to B. So autonomy has a part to play in that as well. And we have courses that you can develop skills in most of those areas. So we have our traditional automotive engineering MSc. What we mean, we have automotive mechatronics. And what that is, if you're not familiar with mechatronics, is it's the computer or electric control of all the mechanical systems. So there's hundreds of ECUs on a modern car. What the mechatronics students learn is how to control those systems to perform a particular function, whether it's an engine management system, whether it's an active suspension system to make the ride comfort better in the car, whether it's one of the safety systems. So that's what our mechatronics students learn, is they learn how to control all of these systems to make that vehicle the best it can be. And again, You can make the structures lighter. So if you wanted to design a carbon fiber monocoque for a car or racing car, you could do that on our Advanced Lightweight and Composites course. We have a unique crash impact centre at Cranfield, and it's one of 2 in the UK that are certified to impact test Formula One cars. So we often have a lot of the Formula One teams coming into Cranfield to do their crash testing, and our students on that course run experiments in the impact centre as part of that programme. So that's a very exciting course for those who want to get into that sector. We also have courses in advanced materials. So if you want to learn about the development of new materials and their application across all aspects and sectors of engineering, not just automotive and aerospace, but across the whole breadth, we have a course on that. And we have a dedicated course on the development of autonomous vehicles. And that has a great feature because it makes use of our, we've got our own automotive test track at Cranfield, which I'll talk about a little bit more in one second. I don't talk too much about motorsports because it's a very popular course at Cranfield. If anyone is interested in motorsports, speak to Alan very quickly and SI UK, but it's very popular and it fills up very quickly. But we have great links with a lot of the Formula One teams across around the world, and you'll find Cranfield graduates in all of the top teams. And they don't just come from our motorsports MSc, they can come from our computational and software engineering course, they can come from our computational and fluid dynamics course, they can come from our aerospace dynamics course, as well as the motorsports course. So you don't have to do purely the motorsports course to get into a career in Formula One, but we're very honoured to have really close relationships with a lot of the Formula One teams, whether that be Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams, right across the board. We have very deep relationships with a lot of the Formula One teams. Okay. Before I move on, you know, some of the facilities, and I think I've got one more little video to show you in terms of automotive engineering. For those that are interested, we have a whole range of automotive test facilities, from engine dynos to suspension rigs. We've even got what we call a soil lane where we can test the grip of off-road vehicles in sand, desert conditions. So we get a lot of Jaguar Land Rover engineers onto Cranfield testing the dynamic performance of their latest vehicles. They'll come and test them at Cranfield. And we've got our own automotive test track. And that's the advantage of being on an airport. We've got lots of space around campus to build additional facilities. So our students get access to our test track where they'll run vehicle dynamics tests with some of our vehicles. A little bit similar to the flying classroom I mentioned earlier, we run experiments on vehicles and log the data and show you what the different vehicles are doing on the test track. But it's also set up to test autonomous vehicles. So it's got LiDAR sensors embedded into the track, as well as 5G communications. So it's a good test bed for the early development of autonomous technologies. I'm only going to talk briefly about manufacturing and industrial engineering, but the buzzwords at the moment are around digital transformation, digital manufacturing, industry 4.0, automation, manufacturing automation, all of these things. We're making manufacturing or industrial engineering processes more efficient by connecting machines to the web. So that's the Internet of Things. So we're improving efficiency to reduce waste, and that can also help with our environmental challenge, which is an overarching theme, as I said, on everything we do. We look at new manufacturing methods that use less materials. We can look at the reuse and recycling of materials and products, and we can design our products to make them easier and more environmentally sustainable to manufacture using less materials and processes. So if you're interested in the design of new products, we've got a course called Global Product Development that is more of a design course in terms of teaching you the skills needed to design and then get products ready for manufacturing, as well as our more traditional manufacturing courses. So our engineering management course, our robotics MSc, our manufacturing technology MSc, and we also have a unique course on what we call metal additive manufacturing. And the image on the right is a titanium component made using Cranfield's own technology, and that's an aircraft component, and it uses a lot less material than traditional methods, so it's more cost effective to manufacturers to make it using our processes. Okay. And in terms of facilities in manufacturing, well, this is in our Operations Excellence Studio, where we look at the application and implementation of AI and augmented reality and all these kind of technologies to improve manufacturing processes. We've got other great facilities in manufacturing, including materials, composites, laboratories, all the kind of facilities you would expect. Okay. So I'm wrapping up now. I don't know how we're doing for time, Alan, but I said I wouldn't go on too long because we might have some questions, but a little closing remark from me. There are three types of people. There are those of you who will make things happen. There'll be some of you who watch other people making things happen. And there'll be those of you who sit there and wonder how it all happened. I want you to be number one. I want you to be one of those people who help us make things happen to make a change in the world we live in today. Okay, so that's the end from me. I hope we've got some